Ruto and his thugs do not own us. They do not own Kenya. We are not slaves. Ruto is not a king over serfs. Kenya is an independent country, a sovereign country. And we must exercise our sovereignty directly by telling Ruto, we are sovereign. We are free. Nobody is going to enslave us. And this language of slavery, which I hear a lot on these spaces, we have to liberate ourselves from them. Let us not talk like Ruto chains us somewhere and forces us to do these things. If he wants to pay the odious debt from the money that he has stolen, let him go ahead and do that. The issue of debt we have dealt with here repeatedly. Legally, you are not allowed to pay illegal debts. I don't know why Kenyans believe that if I take debts illegally, then I can encumber the entire country to pay it for me, even when I steal that debt and put it in offshore accounts for my family. Kenyans are not responsible for debts that were taken illegally. And they are also not responsible for debts that have been paid many times over, but are still in the books because the IMF and the World Bank and our crooks in Nairobi have conspired to continue stealing from the country. Those are odious debts. We have no obligation to pay them. We know of trillions of shillings that have been stashed abroad and some locally. We are demanding that this is the money that once we get Ruto out of power, because he can't do this, we should be able to locate this money, repatriate it back to Kenya, and pay back legitimate debt. The rest we should use for developing our country. Ruto and his thugs do not own us. They do not own Kenya. We are not slaves. Ruto is not a king over serfs. Kenya is an independent country, a sovereign country. And we must exercise our sovereignty directly by telling Ruto, we are sovereign. We are free. Nobody is going to enslave us. And this language of slavery, which I hear a lot on these spaces, we have to liberate ourselves from them. Let us not talk like Ruto chains us somewhere and forces us to do these things. If he wants to pay the odious debt from the money that he has stolen, let him go ahead and do that. They have stolen enough. Let us say enough is enough. I want to say three things. Number one, this struggle does not belong to one generation. I have been on this already, and I think we should make this clear every time. This is the struggle of our ancestors as much as it is our struggle and the struggle of the Gen Zs and also the millennials. Because what our ancestors and our grandparents fought for during colonialism, we have not obtained. We don't have our land back. Our sovereignty belongs to us and does not have to be vested on us by anyone. But it's been subverted successively by successive regimes. For we need to get that. We don't have all the freedoms that we assert we have in the Bill of Rights, including the freedom of association, including the freedom to protest. That is why they are shooting at us, including freedom of the speech. That's why the president Ruto keeps attacking us, calling us violent when we are just speaking. Let no one tell us that because we are not Gen Zs, this is not our struggle. That's divide and rule. Don't let anybody tell you that CJ Mutunga is not a Gen Z, therefore he should not be speaking. That I, Miguna, am not a Gen Z, therefore I should not be speaking. That's parochialism. That's sectarianism. That's a divide and rule tactic. We must reject it because our struggles are based on the struggles of the people who are long gone. Each generation stands on the shoulders of the previous one. Without that, there is no need for a struggle and we can never succeed. So we should get that in our heads and reject these people who are bringing divisive messages and ideas into our heads. We are together in this struggle. We are not united. We are not divided. As I have said before, they have made messages and they are spreading messages of confusion. Let us not allow ourselves to be confused. We could be demonstrating and protesting every single day. There is not one day that is reserved for protests. I wanted to say that we cannot call the martyrs, the people who have been murdered by the state goons, as having committed aided suicide. That kind of language is dangerous. These people did not go to the street to die. Rex did not want to die. Denzel did not want to die. Onsongo did not want to die. All these people did not want to die. They went there. Yes, they were fearless, but they went there to protest in exercise of their constitutional rights. But they did not go there to invite the police to shoot them. When they die, we should call them heroes. We should not say that they committed suicide or they wanted themselves to be killed. No. They were killed by cold-blooded murderers. Let us call the killers murderers. Let us not blame the victims. Let's blame the perpetrators. The last point I want to make is basically in response to my friend CJ. CJ, I actually believe that going to court is not a good strategy because it attempts to validate something that doesn't need to be validated. Our rights under Article 1 do not need validation by the courts. This is something that I was being told when Uhuru Kenyatta forced me into exile. And people are telling me, oh, the courts gave you. The courts did not give me any rights. The courts simply affirmed the rights. So if somebody is going to court for the affirmation, no problem. But we should not make anybody think that if the court does not affirm it, therefore the right does not exist. Because the danger is, if you go to court saying, we have the right under Article 1 to exercise our sovereignty directly, what if the court says no? And then you give the regime the weapon now to attack you, saying the court has already ruled that you cannot do what you are doing. So therefore you fold and you call off the protest. I think that is not a strategy. That is actually naive. That is trying to buy into something that you have no control over. We already have the constitution which we gave ourselves. That's enough. Let's not look for validation from the courts because the courts can be used against us. We should only go to court for things that we are almost certain that even if the court rules against us, it cannot be used by the regime. That would be good strategy. So as I leave, I would like to say, I don't think that this organic, tribeless, leaderless movement should be controlled by anyone. The less spaces, the better. But spaces are important spaces for mobilization, for asserting our rights. But the more of us on the streets rather than the spaces, the better. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. No, have a good day. Have a good afternoon. For those who are where it is morning, have a good morning. Let us continue the struggle. A luta continua. Viva!